Coming up, another crazy finish in Seattle and a rare sweep for the Angels. This is Locked On Now MLB.
The biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
You're listening to Locked On Now MLB, local experts weighing in on the biggest stories in baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. We've got our MLB host here to recap all of the action for you from yesterday. We are going to start out in Seattle as the Yankees and Mariners battled it out in our biggest game.
The biggest game.
After 13 innings of a pitcher's duel on Tuesday, the Mariners and the Yankees didn't score until the 6th on Wednesday, when things went back and forth until Seattle took another win away from the Yankees. Locked On Mariners celebrates a season series win over the Yankees.
In front of a sold-out crowd at T-Mobile Park on Wednesday afternoon, your Seattle Mariners won their season series against the New York Yankees. This is Ty Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast. This game wasn't nearly as absurd as last night's 13-inning affair was, and honestly, no game could probably match that. Today's game between the Mariners and Yankees was still pretty freaking crazy, especially from the 6th inning forward. Sam Haggerty broke up a no-hit bid from Nestor Cortez Jr. through 5 2/3 innings of work with a rocket down the left field line for his 4th home run of the season. And vibes were good. Vibes were up. Vibes were very high for the Mariners at that point. They were up 1-0. But then it started to look as if they were not going to be able to pull this one out. Robbie Ray, after going 96 pitches through his first 6 innings of work, was sent back out for the 7th, went for a season-high 115 pitches, but on his 115th pitch, he gave up a 2-run home run to Kyle Higashioka, and then Penn Murphy gave up Aaron Judge's 45th home run of the season to make it 3-1 Yankees. And at that point, it seemed like, okay, the Mariners, given their offensive struggles after the last few days, were not going to be able to claw their way back. I was absolutely wrong in assuming that, and anyone else who assumed that was absolutely wrong, as the Mariners immediately got back into this game and retook the lead from the Yankees. An RBI single from Mitch Haniger, and then a 2-run shot from Carlos Santana to snap an 0-for-17 skid for the veteran first baseman / designated hitter, gave the Mariners a 4-3 lead, and they didn't look back from that point forward. And now they are 61-52, holding on to the second wild card and inching closer and closer to the Blue Jays for that first wild card in the American League. We're going to be covering more of the game on today's episode of Locked On Mariners. It's our post-game show. Be sure to check it out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you then. Peace.
The Mets put up 10 runs on the Cincinnati Reds on Wednesday night in a win. Luckily, Cincy and our Locked On Reds host have tomorrow's Field of Dream games to distract them from a rough trip to New York.
The Cincinnati Reds are really excited to play in the Field of Dreams game on Thursday. The Cincinnati Reds are really excited to get out of New York. The Cincinnati Reds don't like playing road games against teams with 4-letter names. The Cincinnati Reds, I don't know, whatever. That was a terrible game. Just used one of those headlines. Hey, this is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. We're going to talk to Brian Finkelstein about the Mets sweeping the Reds here on tomorrow's Locked On Reds podcast. Make sure you join us.
Coming up, the Phillies get one of their best wins of the season. This is Locked On Now MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Now is brought to you by Built Bar, the best tasting protein bars on the market. They're all made with 100% real chocolate. They come in dozens of different flavors, including their latest one, Cookie Dough Chunk Puffs. Comes with that protein-infused marshmallow. Has little bits of cookie dough bites in there, too. They are delicious. They're good for you, too. They're high in protein, low in calories, low in fat, low in sugar. If you head over to Built.com, you can use our promo code LOCKED15. It gets you 15% off of your order. You just put in that promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your order at Built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Now MLB. I'm Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Now we continue with our look around the league.
Let's go around the league.
Madison Bumgarner struggled against the Pirates lineup as the Diamondbacks fell at home to Pittsburgh. Locked on Diamondbacks breaks down what went wrong in the desert.
Mad Bum strikes out 8 but gives up 5 earned runs to this lowly Pittsburgh Pirates team as the D-backs lose 6-4. Miller Thomas of Locked On Diamondbacks here. I wanted this to be the series clinching victory for Mad Bum, but he's not able to get it done as he's been struggling recently, giving up at least 4 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. So not what we want to see from a very highly paid man. And the D-backs offense, they try to come alive late in the 9th inning, bases loaded, no outs. Carson Kelly comes up to the plate, and then I don't know exactly what happens. All I know is the D-backs turn a double play against themselves, and it was just not a pretty sight. Kind of an anticlimactic way to end a pretty exciting ball game. And for the D-backs, you had Alek Thomas at least put in some work, a nice positive on the night, couple hits, a couple of really good defensive highlights. As always, he's going to win a Platinum Glove at least one time in his career. And even though I really wanted the D-backs to clinch the series victory today, we still got one more game in the series against the Pirates tomorrow.
Bonus baseball in Houston yesterday as the Rangers kicked things up a notch in the 10th inning to put the game away. Locked on Rangers and Locked on Astros go over the final from Minute Maid Park.
Somehow, the Rangers couldn't win in Houston with a 4-run lead and their ace on the hill, but with their number 5 starter going against Justin freaking Verlander, the Rangers were able to pull out a 10-inning, 8-4 huge win against the Houston Astros in their home stadium. I'm Bryce Patrick, host of the Locked On Rangers podcast. This was a great win for the Texas Rangers club. 3 hits by Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia, but the day belongs surely, unequivocally, to Leody Taveras, who had a double and a triple, was just absolutely on fire. 5 RBI in this one for him. He was just absolutely on fire for the Texas Rangers. Their center fielder did a lot of the heavy lifting offensively. The Rangers only scored 8 runs. They got 5 runs in the 10th inning, a 3-3 game heading into extra innings, but the Rangers were able to get on the board in the 10th, get a lot of runs on the board in the 10th. 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Adolis Garcia had his 18th stolen base of the season and inexplicably was called out stealing, even though he was very clearly safe. Literally the same exact crew, the exact same umpiring crew that called Bubba Thompson's first career home run a double by fan interference and then upheld the call in New York on replay. Whatever, does not matter. Glenn Otto, solid 5 innings of 2-run ball. Brock Burke, 2 innings of 1-run ball. And then Matt Moore, Taylor Hearn, and Jonathan Hernandez came in and only allowed 1 unearned run combined in those final 3 innings. Domination by the Rangers pen, what the Rangers have very, very badly needed from their bullpen. 12 hits, 3 walks, 8 runs in this one, and a win in Houston against Justin freaking Verlander. Great win for the Texas Rangers, especially coming off of last night's debilitating loss.
Justin Verlander was looking to go 8-0 in 8 starts after he went 7-0 in 7 starts, but unfortunately the Astros offense couldn't get enough. In fact, Justin Verlander allowed 2 runs on sacrifice flies, and the Astros scored 2 home runs, and they're home runs from guys who have been slumping, and Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez, but it just was not enough as they went to 10th inning, 3-3 game, and with the runner on base, I hate the runner on base, but then Phil Maton just basically imploded. He walked some batters, allowed some hits, and at the end of the day, 5 runs scored. The Astros did get a run in the 10th inning, but it was not enough as the Astros fall 8-4 to the Texas Rangers. But they look to play a YouTube game tomorrow, and so that should be an interesting matchup, and make sure you tune in to Locked On Astros podcast.
The Dodgers winners again. This time they beat the Twins 8-5 for their 10th win in a row. Locked On Dodgers breaks down another victory for LA.
Well, that's a 10-game winning streak for the Dodgers. Things are going good. What's up? It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. I am coming to you live from the 10 freeway westbound, just outside of Dodger Stadium, where 53,000 of my closest friends and I watched the Dodgers beat the Twins by a score of 8-5, I think was the final. Really good game. It got a little tight there. The Twins actually had a 4-2 lead at one point, but the Dodgers scrapped back, tied it up, and then Chris Taylor had a big home run, and Joey Gallo had a huge home run to provide 3 insurance runs. Craig Kimbrell had a little bit of a messy ninth, got the first 2 outs, and then a hit, a wild pitch, some stuff allowed a run, but the Dodgers win the game, 10th win in a row, keep their lead in the division at 16 games. Their winning percentage is now 700, on pace for 113.4 wins, and the Dodgers had 16 extra base hits in this 2-game series with Minnesota. I'm no baseball expert, but I think that'll do. So check out Locked On Dodgers first thing in the morning. Make us your first listen like you do every weekday morning.
A Royals rookie broke things open in the 7th as the White Sox dropped a game in Kansas City last night. Locked On White Sox goes over all the details for you.
The Chicago White Sox lost to the Kansas City Royals 8-3 on Wednesday night. It was a painful game to watch. And if you were on the fence on whether or not to invest any more time and energy into this White Sox team this year, Wednesday's game probably made the decision a lot easier for you. Only real offense for the White Sox came when Kansas City's second baseman couldn't field a ground ball. Sox scored 2 runs on the play. Despite all the bad, Johnny Cueto did get his 13th quality start. Sox look to split the series Thursday afternoon as they send Dylan Cease to the hill.
The Phillies took down one of the National League's best pitchers last night as they got to Sandy Alcantara early. Locked On Phillies goes over another impressive win and just how special this team is becoming.
Had to step out of the bar, but what a win for your Philadelphia Phillies. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. Who can't this team beat? They come back against the NL Cy Young leader. They are down in the 8th. They come back, they fight through. JT Realmuto, huge at bat. Kyle Schwarber, huge at bat. Nick Castellanos, everybody, just absolutely a huge performance. What a win by your Philadelphia Phillies. This team has no quit in them. This team has so much fight in them. There's something special about this baseball team. And watching them night in and night out, this is not a playoff team. This is a deep run playoff team. This is a team that has something special going on. There's something different about this team, and they just can't stop winning right now. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Noah Syndergaard battled through a rough start to the game and actually gave a really good start. The bullpen's amazing. Seranthony Dominguez with the save. This is an ironclad, really good baseball team, and they're fun to watch day in and day out. I could not be more fired up than I am right now about the Philadelphia frickin' Phillies. What a win. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cleveland scored 3 runs in the first 2 innings, and that was just enough for them to hold on for the win over Detroit. Our Locked On Guardians host goes over all the ways Cleveland tried to lose this one, but somehow still came out on the winning side.
The Guardians win again, as you should, honestly, when you're facing the Detroit Tigers. Let's be honest, you have to beat the Tigers. They tried to give this one away multiple times. Let's see, where was the 4th inning? No, the 3rd inning, where there was a runner on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, got it out of it. 4th inning, when you had a runner at 1st and 3rd, nobody out, got out of it. The 8th inning, where the bases were loaded with 1 out, and got out of it. And then the 9th inning, which saw a runner on 2nd. Not quite as dire, but they win this one 3-2. They will stay in first place. And, I mean, it's August, and this team is staying in first. It's a fun time to be a Guardians fan, even when the team can't get a base hit after the 3rd inning. It doesn't matter, they still won. Make sure to check out Locked On Guardians for more takes on this Cleveland Guardians team, on your first place Cleveland Guardians team right now. Check that out daily. We got you covered.
The Angels swept the A's in extras to close out their series. Locked On Angels talks through a rare series sweep for the Halos.
Well, it took 12 innings, but the Angels complete the sweep of the Oakland A's. What's going on, everybody? It's John from Locked On Angels, and while Touki Toussaint started this game and had a great outing, it wasn't until the 12th that the Angels were finally able to come through and complete the sweep. I'm going to keep saying that because it is very sweet. And, of course, Luis Rengifo, still being Luis Rengifo, hit a 3-run home run. And then Jesse Chavez, who might still be on the A's payroll, if I'm not mistaken, he gave up the 3-run lead after Andrew Wentz loaded the bases. However, Magneuris Sierra got both of the 2 RBIs that the Angels needed, even though the A's came back and it was 4-4. Sierra did it again and made it 5-4. So between Luis Rengifo and Sierra, they were the ones who helped us win this game and complete the sweep. Mike and I are going to talk about it on Locked On Angels, so be sure you tune in wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube.
That's all for today on Locked On Now MLB. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Now make sure you go check out Locked On MLB and your team's Locked On podcast. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Now.